matters regarding the status of the case and to be able to make a determination as to where the city should go and what direction it should take. We had the opportunity to hear from our legal counsel. Our legal counsel gave us a very detailed explanation as to the status of the case. Just so that all of you know, this case is not just about one person in one city. It has taken on a much larger perspective. There are many people now who have decided they want to piggyback onto Mr. Abbott's cause. I know Mr. Abbott has become the figurehead, the person who everyone is speaking about, wanting to feed the homeless on the beach and in the downtown. But as many of you know, we're following this story. There are other people who decided that they want to get in on the act. And they're deciding that they're going to take the notoriety and the cause of Mr. Abbott, and they want to weigh in on the situation. I don't think Mr. Abbott invited them. I don't think that his cause needs them, but that's where we're at. So our attorneys have said that because of that, it's gotten somewhat complicated. That is to say, when Mr. Abbott did go to court and asked that his injunction from 14 years ago be enforced, he walked into the courthouse and he had company. Not the city, but other people who decided they want to participate on the subject. The judge said that we have a month to come to terms. He said, leave the courtroom, go outside and figure it out on your own. About 30 days from December 2nd. So that takes us into the new year, but still, it's not just Mr. Abbott that we have to talk to. It's everybody else who wants to participate. Something tells me we probably could have come to terms with Mr. Abbott, because Mr. Abbott is a very reasonable person. Many of you may have been to the town hall meeting I held a couple weeks ago. Mr. Abbott and others were there, and we actually discussed opportunities for compromise. I think all the providers and supporters of the people in the community wanted to see and hear what was going on. We heard testimonies from homeless people. We heard people who were providers who supplied food. The Peanut Butter and Jelly organization was there. Food Not Mom was there. Reverend Black was there. Reverend Sims was there. It was quite a showing, and I have to say the community came together and actually had an open and frank dialogue as to where we as a community need to go. I think Mr. King, this gentleman over here, made a very good point in that we're a very robust city. We have traffic everywhere. We have cranes everywhere. We're a pretty rich city, as most cities go. So you say to yourself, well, why can't we afford to help the homeless? Why can't we afford to help those who can't help themselves? And we all know that the city of Fort Lauderdale is engaged in many, many different programs, many of which we administer through federal and state funds, through the county. We do a lot, but obviously we need to do more. And it seems that no matter how we try to reach out to these other entities, they keep throwing it back into our lap, and they say it's your problem, not our problem. So it is our problem. And I've always said that the city of Fort Lauderdale, as a municipality, has a responsibility to help people who can't help themselves. Now, the whole world has seen Fort Lauderdale. The whole world has seen Fort Lauderdale as if we're somehow not doing anything for the homeless. I don't think that's fair. I don't think anybody thinks that's fair who's actually involved in the homeless fight here. And I want to say that this city commission has passed laws intending to maintain a quality of life so that everyone can share in the beauty and the cleanliness of this city. And I think that the city commission has done its best to use make a good faith effort in order to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy it, not just the visitors, not just the people that work here, people who live here, and as well as the homeless. But now we're come to a crossroads in this whole matter as to whether or not we are going to try to fight the court. The court suspended our enforcement of the ordinance. I was in favor of that. I felt that we should never have enforced the ordinance as it took on, became complicated. And I thought we were not serving the best purposes of our community. The courts agreed, and that's why Judge Lynch suspended the ordinance. But he also said, make sure you sit down at the table and work something out. You got a month to do it. Well, it hasn't happened yet. The question is, should we be appealing this? Do we want to overturn the judge's order? It sends a bad signal, doesn't it? Why are we fighting the judge when in reality, in the end, we really want to help the homeless? Are we helping the homeless by appealing, or are we not helping the homeless by appealing? Now, our lawyers would tell us that there was a very important technicality, or a couple of technicalities, that we must address as a commission. And I'm not going to sit here and explain the whole thing to you. But the reality is that because some other people chimed in on the lawsuit, it made it difficult for the city to sit down just with Mr. Abbott and to try to work things out. So one would think, well, we should continue to pursue the appeal, because if we're going to sit down with Mr. Abbott alone, the only way we're going to do that is if we appeal the decision of Judge Lynch. I know it sounds kind of contradictory, doesn't it? But that's where it's come. But as the representative of District 2, and there are many homeless that are in District 2 as well as other parts of the city, I feel that it would be sending the wrong message to appeal this decision. So I know that the rest of the commission may disagree with me. I know there's some technicalities that need to be dealt with legally, but Mayor and Commissioners, I really need to vote against this measure, and I think that there's a better approach. I think it doesn't appear as though we're showing good faith in entering into these negotiations with the providers for the homeless, and I think that we can do better, and so tonight I ask the Commission to not vote in favor of this amendment.
Okay.
And on the other hand, because there are some technicalities that are important to define the responsibilities here, and as mentioned, there are three parts to our government. There's a legislative branch, and there's a judicial branch, there's an enforcement branch, and at the end of the day, as a steward of the law here on this dais, I think it's important that we maintain those bright lines and that we make sure that what happens from this commission is happened according to law. So, having said that, I think, as you well know, we do want to try to resolve this matter, and there's nothing that says we can't appeal it and also try and settle it, and that's exactly what I think we should do. So let me read this motion so that I can put it on the floor. The motion to approve appeal of court orders issued against the city in the matter of Arnold Abbott, Love Thy Neighbor Fund, Inc. versus the city of Fort Lauderdale, case number CACE 99-03-583, and to direct and authorize the city attorney to immediately commence settlement negotiations with Arnold Abbott and Love Thy Neighbor Fund, Inc. and their counsel, pending appeal, and to authorize the use of Jay Speckler as a third-party facilitator in the negotiation process if and to the extent necessary. And that's the motion.
Thank you, Romney. So the motion is to authorize the appeal and to direct and authorize the city attorney to immediately commence settlement negotiations with Mr. Arnold Abbott and Love Thy Neighbor Fund and their counsel, and I believe that counsel is Mr. David. That motion's on the table. It's been moved and seconded, Madam Clerk. Oh, and also the motion includes authorizing the use of Jay Speckler as a third-party facilitator in the negotiation process. Bruce and Robert.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Trantalis?
No.
Commissioner McKenzie?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rogers?
Yes.
Mayor Silver?
Yes, and by your vote, that's approved.